Okay, I want to give you an idea of how you can create some of your own collage papers. I occasionally buy collage materials. Like I got this really nice pack of Japanese papers that's cute. And I bought that and I had to have it, and I bought it about 2 months ago and I haven't used any of it yet. And I use collage pretty much daily, so mostly I make my own papers. So I'll just give you some ideas for what I do. So there's no wasted paper in my house. I use everything. This was an old sheet of note paper. I've scribbled on it with ink and paint and done some asemic writing. So I've got a really nice piece to put in there. By the way, this is, when I say prolific, this is what I've done like probably this month. A portion of it. It's not everything. I've used some of the papers. Some of them are filed away. So I do a lot. This is an old sheet of butcher's paper that I've painted with some sort of nice colors, not really perfectly great gradients or anything, but pretty good. And then I drew on with a fine liner bottle with ink, so one of these with a tiny nib on it, and I scribbled on that. So that one's kind of cool. This is some tracing paper. So a little bit of magenta, some scribble, a little bit of white ink. And I've got a pink one there. Old book pages are great for collage. Like this is so thin and so fine, and the text is wonderful. But you can also, sort of paint over them. This one I put some white ink on, a little bit of black, and the text is showing through a little bit. You can take that previously mentioned note paper and stain it, and write some poetry on it, and then you've got some nice writing. Again, asemic writing. I journal my thoughts and feelings sometimes. Sometimes I write directly on my paintings underneath, and sometimes I put it on a piece of paper and I put that into the painting. You can also crinkle the paper so that it's got a nice texture. This was some tracing paper. Okay, so I said no leftover paper. There's also no leftover paint. So I had some quinacridone gold and black on my palette, and I used that to make a nice collage paper. I smooshed up leftover paint several times and then just drew on it with some neon, and that's just crazy. I don't know if I'll ever be able to use that one, but we'll see. Again, leftover paint. And this is a sheet of A4 copy paper. If anyone's concerned, yes, the A4 copy paper is acid-free, so it's just fine to use. And it's cheap, cheap, cheap. Okay, so this one, I put silver ink down, and then at the end of last night I had some phthalo blue and white left over my palette, so I painted over the silver that I'd previously painted. I did some dry brush techniques, and then that's the same phthalo. I think I was just bored. I don't know what that was. Tissue paper. Tissue paper is really good. Look, I've stained this one with tea, with my favorite tea, and a little bit of black ink, and that's a wonderful texture. That's another one that I like drew on with metallics and then painted over. Nothing goes to waste. This was a test print from my photo printer when I set it up, and I've stained that with tea, and now it's really cool, I think. I did a color mixing exercise, so I used all of that. More color mixing pages. Okay, I mentioned A4 printer paper before. It's just fine to use that in your paintings, and you can print all sorts of stuff on A4 printer paper and do really, really cute little graphics and just have cute things. Right, so I do these papers in Photoshop or whatever I make them. More leftover paint smooshing. Plus everything that I paint I digitize so I can print it off again later if I want to. So that's kind of a good idea. More leftover paint, what have I got? This is a cool one. Okay, so I said I print. This I painted. I used inks and acrylics and a gel pen, I think, I'm not sure. But I can print it off bigger. So I can have more of that paper if I want. So that's the original, and that's the print. More of that print, but I changed the color. This is another one that I painted on sketch paper with gouache and printed off. Right, so there's all kinds. This was scraps of, it was a brown paper bag that I painted and tore it up and put it on the scanner, and it had a book page in it as well, and then I pulled it into Photoshop and played with that. Cute little digital thing that I can play with. Book pages again. I love these. They're so thin, and I did them with metallics, so I put a little bit of metallic paint on top of these. They're really nice and yummy. Let me see now. Something different. What have I got? I've got do not throw away your palette papers. They make wonderful collage papers. And that's about it. That's a whole bunch of ideas. Oh, I had one other that I wanted to show you. I downloaded some vintage illustrations, which were just black and white. Now these are old illustrations. They're in the public domain. And then I went in and colored them with watercolor pens. So I've got some really fabulous collage elements there. So you can find that on there's Wikimedia Commons. I think is where I got those. And there's also, and look, just some dry brush techniques on photocopy paper. Okay, that's it. Thank you.